but in standard American, you're promising 5. And that doesn't make any difference whether you're in first or second seat or the third or fourth seat. In standard American, if you open 1 heart or 1 spade, you're promising 5. And then it says responses. So now we're talking about responder. So partner has opened 1 heart or 1 spade, and we've got 2 boxes there checked. Double raise, we've checked invitational, and after an overcall, we've checked weak. So basically, the first box is saying, if you open one of a major and your partner, who is now a responder, makes a double raise, what are they promising? So I open 1 heart or 1 spade, and you jump to 3 hearts or 3 spades. And in standard American, you're supposed to be promising what we call a limit raise. INV means an invitational raise. You know, limit raise is invitational raise and limit raise mean the same thing. Bridge players are more likely to call it a limit raise. ACBL likes to call it an invitational raise. But those 2 terms mean the same thing. And what it means is they're promising me they have an invitational point count. So how many points is that? Well, it depends on the partnership agreement. A very common range for invitational point count is 10 to 12 points, somewhere in that range of 3 points. Some people play 10 to 12. Some partners play 11 to 12. Some partners play 10 to 11. But pretty much everyone's right in that point count range there. So I bid 1 heart, you raise to 3 hearts, you're promising me 10 to 12 points, if that's our agreement, and you're promising me 4 card trump support, okay, in standard American. So then the immediate question is, what if I have 11 to 12 points, but I only have 3 card trump support? Can I still raise you to 3 hearts? And the answer is not if you're following standard American, you can't, okay? If we've agreed that you can bid 3 hearts, whether you have either 3 or 4, then you can do it, okay? And a lot of new players find it convenient to make that agreement because they don't like to have something else to think about. You know, they don't have to have another thing to remember with respect to how do you make a limit raise if you only have 3 card support. So it's pretty common among new players to say, well, I know standard American says I'm supposed to promise 4, but let's agree I might have 3. And if that's your partnership agreement, that's fine. It's also not good bridge because it's fine for new players, but if you're going to play very much, it's not very good bridge because it makes a big difference whether you have 3 card trump support or 4 card trump support. If I have 5 and you have 3, we have 8, okay? And we might be playing that to imagine game, we should have at least 26 points between the 2 of us, 25 to 26. Well, if I have 5 and you have 4, we have 9. And a pretty common estimate is that every trump past 8 lowers the points you need for game by as much as 3 points. So if we have 9, if we've agreed game is 26, and I know we have 9, I'm thinking, well, now game is only 23. And that's probably correct. You know, more often than not, if you have 9 trump, you can make game with 23. So it's really important for me to know whether you have 4 card trump support or 3 card trump support. So if you want to agree initially with your partner that it could be 3 or 4, that's fine, but you want to try and get away from it as quickly as possible. Okay. What do you do if you have 3 card trump support? Well, I bid 1 heart, you make a forcing bid. So let's say you're sitting there with 3 hearts and 12 points. Make a forcing bid. Maybe you have 4 spades and you can bid 1 spade. Maybe you have 4 or 5 clubs and you could bid 2 clubs. Those are both forcing. Make a forcing bid. It's going to come back to me. I'm going to bid something. And now you bid 3 hearts. You make a delayed limit raise. That's how you tell me you only have 3. Okay. So anyway, the double raise is supposed to show invitational point count and 4-card trump support. Then it says after an overcall. Is a double raise, they're still talking about double raise. They're saying, is it still invitational? And I'm suggesting no. After an overcall, it should be weak. So I bid 1 heart. My left-hand opponent bids 2 clubs. And now you bid 3 hearts. What I'm saying is now your bid should not be invitational. It should be weak. You're promising 4 hearts, but you're telling me you have less than 10 to 12 points. It's a drop dead bid. Okay. How do you tell me you have the limit raise? Q bid the opponent's suit. So I open 1 heart, the opponent bids 2 clubs. If you have a limit raise, you're going to bid 3 clubs. You're going to bid their suit. And now you don't necessarily have to have 4 of them either. You might only have 3 of my hearts, because bidding space is being used up too fast to mess around with fast limit raise or slow limit raise. Now, not very many new players use that Q bid limit raise, but it's an excellent bid. I teach it to my new players. It doesn't surprise me at all to think that a lot of them go out there and don't use it right away because it seems confusing to them. But it's a good enough bid so that I think they should start using it as soon as they can. And it's good for 2 reasons. First of all, it messes with the opponent's auction. You know, my lefty has bid 2 clubs and his partner wants to raise him to 3, and now you bid 3 clubs. You know, now if they want to raise the clubs, they've got to go to 4, right? Second of all, it lets you bid 3 hearts with a weak hand, just to tell me you have 4 of them, but less than a limit raise. So it opens up another way for you to describe your hand to me. So that's what we call Q bid limit raises. That's why the card is checked that way. It works the same way if the opponents are in the auction because one of them bid before I did, and I actually overcalled. So let's say my right-hand opponent bids 1 club, and I bid 1 heart, right? Now I'm an overcaller. If I open 1 heart, I have an opening hand. If I'm an overcaller, I might not, right? But you have a limit raise in hearts. When it comes to you, don't bid 3 hearts. I might not have an opening hand, and now we're at the 3 level. Bid 2 clubs to tell me you have the limit raise. And now if I don't have an opening hand, I'm just going to bid 2 hearts. I say, okay, partner, but stop, because I was only funning with you. I didn't really have a full opener. I just had enough points to overcall. So the idea is, if it's a competitive auction, in other words, if the opponents are bidding 2, you should make limit raises by Q bidding their suit, not by making a double raise in partner suit. It's really good bridge. Any problems with that or questions about it? Now, again, I've marked this card that way because I talked about this in class. I don't expect them to start using this card marked that way when they go out and play unless they're ready to, okay? So I'm just hoping that they're ready to pretty quickly because it's a really good bid. So don't mark stuff on your actual convention card that you're not playing, but What I've got marked on here is a card for you to strive for if you're a new player. Okay, then you move down to where it says 2 no trump in black. There's also a 2 no trump in red that comes quicker. But 2 no trump in black, farther down, invitational is checked again. That's saying it's still talking about responder now. So what they're asking you there, they're saying partner opened 1 heart or 1 spade. They promised 5. What does it mean if you bid 2 no trump? And we're saying it's an invitational. You're telling me you have an invitational point count, 11 to 12 or 10 to 12 or whatever you and your partner play. What are you telling them about your hearts or spades? Well, you're telling them, I don't have 3 or more. Probably only have 2. I might even only have 1. No, you're saying we don't have a golden fit. That's why I'm not trying to make a limit raise here. But I have 11 to 12 points. What do you want to do? Okay. And then 3 no trump, there's a point count written in there that's saying if partner opens 1 heart or 1 spade and you bid 3 no trump, what does that mean? What are you telling them? Now you're telling them you have 13 to 15 points. But you're also implying again that you have less than three of their suit. Because if you have a golden fit in their suit, you want to be playing in the suit, not in no trump. As a new player. Okay. The highly experienced players, if they have an 8-card fit, they'd rather be playing in no trump because no trump scores better. But it's also more difficult to play. So I tell new players, if you have a golden fit, play in the suit. Don't play in no trump. It's easier to play suit contracts. Okay, any questions on that box? Okay, Ralph, you want to move us down to minor opening? It's just to the right of the major opening box on your convention card. It's underneath the way Ralph's got it lined up here, but same concept. It's saying if partner opens a minor suit, how many are they promising? And I've got 3 checked there. You should promise at least, my partners and I, if they open 1 club or 1 diamond, they're promising at least 3. Some people play, we'll check the box that says 2 for a 1 club opening, 0 to 2. So they're opening what's called a short club. Bad idea, bad bridge, unless you're playing a scheme called precision, not standard American. But in standard American, it's bad bridge. So if you ask them why they're doing it, they probably got the box for 1 diamond checked as promising 4. Okay. And the box for 1 club, they'll say, well, we're going to bid club short because I want to make sure that partner has at least 4 diamonds when they open diamonds. My first question is why? Why do you care how many diamonds they have? Okay. But the second question is, if you're following the rules of the second point is, if you're following the rules of standard American, to open 1 diamond with only 3, your distribution would have to be 4 spades, 4 hearts. That's why you didn't open hearts or spades, 3 diamonds, and 2 clubs. Now in standard American, you're supposed to open diamond. If you have 3 clubs and 2 diamonds, you're supposed to open clubs, right? Do you know how often you have 4, 4, 3, 2 with the 3-card suit being diamonds? 5% of the time, 1 out of 20 hands. So when one of my partner opens 1 diamonds, I just assume they have 4, even though the box that's checked is 3. And I'll only be wrong once out of 20 times. And I can deal with that. Why should we agree on short clubs to fix something that happens once out of 20 times? It doesn't make sense. It's not good bridge. And it's only a matter of time until your partner opens clubs with only 2 of them and it goes pass, 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 and you only have 2 of them and you're in deep doo-doo. You're not that much better off with 3, but at least you're a little better off. At any rate, it's pointless to me. So, what does a double raise mean? By responder, I open 1 diamond and you bid 3 diamonds. What are you telling me? It's an invitational raise. You're telling me you have at least 4 card support and at least 11 to 12 points. After an overcall, it's weak. Because if the opponents have overcalled, you should have cubed their suit to tell me you have a limit raise in my diamonds or clubs. So it's the same thing as on the other side. Going down, what does it mean if responder bids 1 no trump? So you open 1 club or 1 diamond and they respond 1 no trump. How many points are they promising? 6 to 10. They're also denying a 4-card major, aren't they? Because if I open 1 club or 1 diamond and you have 6 to 10 points and you have 4 hearts or 4 spades, you should have bid that, not the 1 no trump. What if I open 1 club or 1 diamond and you bid 2 no trump? What are you telling me? Oh, it says 11 to 123 points. Make that 12 points. Okay. Okay. So same as on the, what if they bid 3 no trump, 13 to 15? But all 3 of those are denying a 4-card major, because if you had a 4-card major, you should have told me that first, because, you know, our first choice is to look for a golden fit in hearts or spades. And when I open diamonds or clubs, I may very well have 4 hearts or 4 spades. And we want to look for that first. So if I open 1 diamond or 1 club and I have 4 hearts or 4 spades and you respond in no trump, I know we do not have a golden fit, because I trust you. And I trust that if you had 4 of either one, you would have told me that. So now it doesn't matter anymore that I have 4, because we don't have a golden fit. You've told me that. And you've told me how many points you have, and I can just go ahead and set the contract, probably. Okay, we ready to go down?
I have a question, Vic.
Yep.
So you bid a club and somebody bids a heart, and your partner bids 2 hearts. Now that implies that you have clubs, but you only have 3 clubs.
I might only have 3, yeah.
So does the Q bid, what does that really tell you? That really doesn't.
Q-bid, if I open 1 club, their Q-bid should be promising me 5 clubs, because I might only have 3 of those. If I open 1 diamond, their Q-bid might be, you know, they can Q-bid, make a Q-bid limit raise if they only have 4, because probably I have 4. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. So
yeah.
So you try to Q bid the amount of trump that are missing, basically, and 11 points, right?
Yeah, they need the point. They're showing me the point counts listed there. 11 to 12 points would be the Q bid, you know, the whatever your partnership agreement is. 10 to 12 is pretty common for new players, but if it's a weak 10, you should probably consider it a 9. So it should be a strong 10 to 12. Some new players even play 11 to 12 because they don't even want to mess with the 10. That's fine too. But don't play 10 to 11 as a new player. That's for the more experienced players. So yeah, if you make a limit raise, you know, same thing if I open 1 diamond and you bid 3 diamonds, okay? The opponents aren't in the auction. I open 1 diamond and you bid 3 diamonds. That's a limit raise. You're promising me 11 to 12 points and at least 4 diamonds. If I open 1 club and you bid 3 clubs, you're promising me 11 to 12 points, but you should probably have 5 clubs, because chances are much better that I only have 3. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we're down at the bottom of the page there, not much filled in there. The strong 2 club bid, we marked that way up at the top on that side of the page under general approach. We marked that we were playing a strong 2 club. 2 clubs is a forcing opening, showing a strong hand. So now the convention card is coming back to it, and it's asking you how strong, how many points are you showing? And I just usually write like what I did there, 22 plus. It means I've got at least 22 points. And notice it says HCP after it. That's high card points. So when you're just looking to see if you have a standard opening hand, 13 to 14 points, you can count length points there. But I wouldn't count more than 1 length. This implies you're not going to lie about high card points when you open 2 clubs. When you open 2 clubs, the implication is you have at least 22 points, and they are all high card points. I will lie about that if I have 21 high card points and a link point, but I don't make any worse lie than that when I open 2 clubs. There's nothing wrong with opening 1 of a suit with a 21 point hand, because if partner has 6 points, they're going to find a way to respond and tell you they have 6 points. And if they don't have 6 points, where are you going with your big hand? Down, probably, if you don't stop bidding pretty soon. Okay. So you want to stick, now, partnership agreements, there are some people that say you can bid open 2 clubs if you only have 4 losers in your hand. If you count losers and there are only 4. Well, if I have all 13 spades, right? I'm not going to open 2. I only have 4 and 3 is 7 and 2 is 9. I only have 10 high card points. I'm not going to open 2 clubs with that. What I'm going to open with that is 7 spades, right? Because I have all 13 tricks. But it's a slippery slope if you start agreeing that you can lie about that 22 high card points. I don't like to lie about it. My partners don't like to lie about it. I would encourage you to be pretty strict on that one. Because again, partner's going to find a way to respond if they have at least 6. And if they don't have at least 6, where are you going anyway? And then we check the box that says strong. Yeah, the 22 points is a pretty strong hand, right? And then we've checked the RSP down underneath there means responder. And it's asking you, so you've opened 2 clubs. What does it mean if responder now bids 2 diamonds? And as a new player, I would suggest you agree it's what we call a waiting bid. It doesn't mean anything. It means I'm giving you another chance to bid, partner, because if I pass, it might pass out, right? You might not get another chance to bid. So it just means I'm giving you another chance to bid. When it comes back around to me, tell me something else about your hand. All I know right now is you have at least 22 points. I want to know if you have a 5-card suit or if you're balanced or whatever. I can't do anything until I know more than, or anything very smart until I know something else about your hand, okay? So it's just a waiting bid to give your partner another chance to further describe their hand, because they haven't told you much. All they've said is, wow, I've got a really good hand here, partner. Okay. And then off to the right, so then the question is, well, what if I have no points at all? Do I still bid 2 diamonds? Yep. Then partner's going to bid something, maybe 2 hearts, maybe 2 spades, maybe 2 no trump, okay? How do you now tell them, put the brakes on, partner, I have a really weak hand? You tell them by making your next bid of 3 clubs. That's what we call a second negative bid. Your first bid of 2 diamonds was waiting. If your second bid is 3 clubs, it's negative. It's not telling partner you're flat broke. It's telling them you don't have any aces or kings. Okay.
So
And,
so the responder is saying that, correct?
pardon?
The responder is saying that.
Yeah, responders saying that by bidding 3 clubs with their second chance to bid. Now that's a really good agreement for new players. Is that's how responder shows a negative hand. They bid 2 diamonds the first time, which is waiting. And then they bid 3 clubs the second time, and 3 clubs the second time is saying, no aces or kings, partner. Don't expect me to bid again unless you force me to. So look at your hand, decide where you want to play the contract, and set the contract. If you got a lot of clubs, you should probably just pass my 3 clubs. Now that's a very common agreement for new players. I know some very experienced players at the Bridge Club that still play that agreement. So it's not just a new player agreement. No agreement for responding to opening bids of 2 clubs is problem-free. This one has problems, but so do all the others. Problem with this one is, let's say I bid 2 clubs and you bid 2 diamonds waiting and you're eager to tell me about your hand with no aces or kings, and my second bid is 3 clubs because I have a club suit. Now what do? Right? Well, this is not problem-free agreement, okay? So you have to talk about what would you do if opener's second bid was 3 clubs, and most people say, well, you just bid 1 suit higher, so now 3 diamonds would show me the broken hand. But it's not glitch-free, but neither is any other agreement that's out there for responding to 2 clubs. And this one is just as good as any other one. And you can take it all the way through to Life Master if you get involved in duplicate bridge. There are plenty of Life Masters out there that use that scheme still. And how long we got, Ralph?
You got 7 minutes.
7 minutes? Okay, good. Okay, the other 3, we can, the rest of that box, we can take pretty much as a group. 2 diamonds, 2 hearts, and 2 spades. They're all filled out the same way. What it's saying is, okay, we know an opening bid of 2 clubs is a strong bid. What about an opening bid of 2 diamonds, 2 hearts, or 2 spades? And the most common agreement, you can agree those are strong also. They used to be, when my parents were playing bridge, those were strong bids also. But in modern bridge, most partners use those as weak bids, or what we call weak 2 bids. How weak? Typically 5 to 10 high card points. Okay, so that's what I've filled in there. And you can play them as disciplined or undisciplined. Discipline means if I open 2 hearts, partner, I have 5 to 10 points, but none of them might be in hearts. If I open 2 hearts, I'm not telling you have 5 to 10 points and most of them are in hearts. I'm just saying I've got 5 to 10 points and I've got 6 hearts, but I'm not guaranteeing you that any of those points are in hearts. That's what's called an undisciplined weak 2 bid. My partners and I like disciplined weak 2 bids. We're saying when we open 2 hearts, partner, I have 6 hearts. 6 is always what it should be, period. Don't open a weak 2 with 7, okay? Or with 5. It always promises 6. But if I open 2 hearts with one of my regular partners, I'm saying I've got 6 of them, partner, and I have 5 to 10 high card points, and most of those points are in hearts. If we're vulnerable, I'm promising them I have 2 of the top 3 honors. Well, if I have ace queen, that's 6 points, right? The weakest I could be is king queen, which should be 5 of the 10 points would be in hearts. Okay. If we're not vulnerable, I'm cheating a little. I'm promising them I have 2 of the top 5 honors, but one of them is either the ace or the king. That agreement would be what's called disciplined week twos. That's what I recommend, but you can agree on anything you want there with your partner. I have one experienced player I play with a lot who just loves to open week two bids with nothing. And I enjoy playing with him, so I agree that he can do that when we partner if he wants to, because he loves it so much, but it bugs me. Okay. If I didn't like playing with him so much, I wouldn't partner with him, but I do. He's good fun. So that's just the common way. And then there's a box to the right there. It says 2 no trump. What if responder, you open a week 2 and responder bids 2 no trump? What does that mean? It's a forcing bid. They want you to bid again. What are they asking? It depends, you have to decide what you're asking. So if I open 2 hearts and you bid 2 no trump, we have to decide what that means. And a typical agreement is, you're asking me whether I have any aces or kings that are not in the suit I opened. So I opened 2 hearts and you bid 2 no trump. You're saying, do you have any aces or kings other than hearts? And if I do, I bid that suit. And if I don't, I just rebid my hearts. Why would you do that? You're thinking maybe we can play in 3 no trump probably. And you want to know what I have, if I have any outside aces or kings. Then the last thing in that box, weak jump shifts. What do weak jump shifts mean? Well, a weak jump shift would be like I open 1 club and you bid not 1 heart, but 2 hearts. That's a weak jump shift. That's a jump shift. And my partners and I play that all jump shifts are weak. It doesn't matter whether it's in competition or not in competition, it's a weak bid. Okay. So the reason the not in competition is in red is that if you make a jump shift not in competition, some people play that as strong. So you have to alert it if you play it as weak. And I think we can probably finish this up next time because there's not much to mark on the other side of the card, but that's it for today.